Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be creating a glass snowman using the globes that you get at the Dollar Tree. So the products that you're going to need are 3 globes. You're going to need a smaller one. You're going to need 2 of the same size. So we have 2 here that are the same size. Make sure that when you're getting your globes too that you check to make sure that they're nice and flat. I had a problem with this one over here sitting because it's not flat and it wanted to kind of bubble. It kind of like didn't stick well for these. So I don't know what the problem was with that one, but it wasn't working out correctly. So we had to use a different one. And thankfully I had another one on hand. So you just want to make sure that they're nice and even. So maybe when you're buying them in the store, just kind of stack them together and make sure that they line up okay. So even now, this one's still having a problem. I wonder if it's the bottom one. Let's see. I don't know. I think there's just a problem with these glass. That one's better. It's better like that, I guess. Okay, so there are issues though, so just pay attention to that when you're purchasing your items to make sure that you are getting ones that will match up really well. You want to go ahead and take off the stickers and clean that part off. Mine I removed with Goo Gone. So I just used the Goo Gone spray. So I used this right here to actually remove my labels off. And the other things that you're going to need are, you're going to need a piece of black paper. So I have my black cardstock here. So I have that to make the hat with, or you can use a hat if you already have a hat. I have a piece of cardboard over here, so I need a piece of cardboard to use to actually create the hat with as well. So I have the cardboard. I do have one of these Dollar Tree microfiber, the card cloths. I have one of these as well. Excuse the pain on my hands. I am working on another project as well. You guys know I like to create like 5 different projects at one time. I can't just do one thing at a time. The next thing you're going to need is some fake snow. So I do have some fake snow here. So this is going to go inside of the product, inside of the snowman. Then you're going to need some things to put inside of your snowman. So I have a little tree here. So I'm going to be putting the little tree. I also have this little car here, little red truck actually, that I painted. It did come looking like this. It's one of the ones that I picked up from Michael's. So it looked like this. Was it Michael's? It's $2. So I think it was Michael's. So they look like this when you first get them, and then I painted it and now it looks like this. It's not perfect, but it'll work, so that's good enough for me. I don't have any more red truck stuff because pretty much everybody sold out of red truck stuff around where I live. Then the other thing I'm going to be using is a lantern, but you guys can use whatever you want to fill up your snowman. If you want to fill it up with snowmen, go for it. If you want to fill it up with trucks, do it. You can do that as well, but whatever you choose to fill it up with, that's your choice. The next thing you're going to need is some E6000. So I do have some E6000 here. This is going to bond the glass pieces together because glass is really hard to bond together. So you want to use E6000. So once you created this project, you want to leave it set for 24 hours. So that way there it can definitely cure. And once it's cured, you're going to be able to pick it up and shake it around like a big old shaker. So it's going to be really cool. The other thing I'm going to be using is the Eileen's Turbo Tacky Glue. I'm going to be using this to create the hat with. The last one I did, I actually had a hat, so I didn't have to create the hat, but we're going to be creating a hat this time. And then the only other thing you're going to need is some jute. So I do have some jute over here, and that is also to actually fix the hat. Well, actually, one more thing. I do have a little piece of greenery right here. That's just a little piece of greenery with some little red berries on it. I'm going to use that just as a little accent on the snowman's hat, so that's just an accent piece. So you can decorate your snowman hat however you choose to. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and glue these items down into the actual container here. So like I said, make sure your containers are nice and clean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of E6000 onto the, let's see where it's going to go in first actually. Is this the right bowl? Yes. I had to make sure I was using the right bowls. Where do I want it to set? So it's going to sit like that. So I'm thinking the glue needs to go like on the back part right here and on the front parts right here. So that's where the glue needs to go, and that's going to help it stick securely. So if I put some E6000 right in those spots, we should be okay. Put some here and here and here. I'm just gonna put a little bit more than what we need just because I don't want it to fall out once it's in there. Go ahead and wind your E6000 is so messy. I always make a mess with all my glues though, so what am I talking about? I make a mess with all of the glue. Now I'm just going to set it down into here. And once you've got it set, you don't really want to be moving it around a whole bunch. You just want to leave it set. So that way there it can start to set and everything like that. Now I'm gonna slide this one over. We've got the truck in the container. Now we're gonna move on to our next one, which is going to be the tree. So for the tree, we're just going to do the same thing. We're gonna put some E6000 around the tree here at the bottom. Make sure that it's good and gluey. And then we're gonna sit that down inside of the bowl. So once we've got that inside of the bowl, we're going to move on to our last one, which is the little lantern. So the little lantern, again, we're just gonna put some E6000 and we're going to put that down inside of the lantern. I mean, inside of the glass bowl. And again, the last one I did actually little deer and some, what else did I do? I did deer and trees. I think it was just deer, trees, and a truck is what I did for the last one that I did like this. So now that you've got all of that in there, the next thing you're gonna do is start putting them together, but you want to first go ahead and put your snow in. So this snow here is actually really messy. So when you're putting it in, just be careful because it tends to stick to everything. It's like styrofoam, so it just like sticks everywhere. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this up. Try not to be super noisy with it. I know these plastic packages can be a little bit noisy. So I'm gonna open it without making a mess, hopefully. That's probably near impossible in a craft room. I think my room is always a giant mess in here. It's always very messy in my craft room. I don't know how you keep a craft room clean, honestly. I wish I knew, because mine is never clean. So I'm just gonna cut a little hole in this using some scissors. Using my, actually, these are Harry Potter scissors. Look how fancy I am. I have Harry Potter scissors. No, these were my son's when he was younger, so I kind of kept them, didn't get rid of them. So I'm just gonna pour some snow into each little container here now. So it's snowing on our little products. So you want to put as much snow around it as you pretty much want. It doesn't really matter. It's whatever you like in your bowl. I just want it to look like there's a bunch of snow laying around the tree. As for the little red truck, we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to pour the snow in until it fits, until it goes around. I'm thinking like maybe the wheel area. Oh, we've got a lot inside of the truck. We'll fix that once it dries, so don't worry. Once it dries, we'll fix all that. It'll shake out. Then we're gonna go ahead and pour some into the next container, which is the lantern. I'm laughing at the little red truck over there sitting. I don't want much in this one because I want this one to be seen. It's a very low level there, so I don't want as much in this one as I did the other one. As you can see, there's some E6000 sticking right there. So now that this is done, I'm gonna set this to the side. That's all the snow I want in my top one. I don't want a whole bunch in there. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and start gluing these all together. It's very simple. So now we're going to take our, whichever one you want on your bottom. I typically go from whatever looks like it would be the heaviest. So I think the truck is looking like it might be the heaviest. So I'm gonna use the truck, and then I'm gonna use the tree, and then I'm gonna use the lantern. That's how I chose my items, but you can choose to put them however you choose to. That's up to you. So now what I'm going to do is go around the rim of the bowl here and put some E6000. And I'm gonna try not to make a giant mess with it, even though that is darn near impossible. So just make sure you have some wet wipes on hand to wipe off any messes that you make. So I always have some little baby wet wipes here. So I'm just going to continue to glue this around. Just gonna put some glue around. I'm putting quite a bit because I don't want this to fall apart, because I am making this into more of like an actual globe. So you can pick it up and shake the whole thing. I don't want it to fall apart when somebody picks it up and shakes it and they end up dropping glass all over their foot. That would not be good. So now we're going to go ahead and set this down on top of here. Again, the other thing you should do is make sure you're lining it up how you want it. So I want to see this part of the tree with the truck. So once I do that, you can see where the glue is kind of seeping out a little bit. And if you're concerned about that, you can actually wipe a little bit here and that'll clean up some of it. I'm not really worried about it, honestly, because once it dries clear. I'm not going to worry about it. It's going to be perfectly fine. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the next row. So for up here, hopefully I'm going to have to adjust you. Hang on one second. Let me adjust you. All right, move you up. So now that I've got you moved up, we're going to put the glue right here. So I'm going to put some glue around the top part right here, just like we did the other one. Try not to get it into the inside too much. It's dripping right there. I want to pull that out. I don't want it dripping down into the inside too much. Mine's not going to be perfect, but guess what? It's a craft that I created, so I don't really mind that it's not completely perfect. My hands are nervous for some reason. I think I had a little too much caffeine today already. All right, so I've got that on. Now I'm going to, again, go and wipe any parts where I feel like it's dripping a little too far into it. I probably should have done that for the bottom one. I didn't do that, so that's my bad. I'm going to wipe it off on my little baby wipe here. And now I'm going to pick up the next one and I'm going to place that on top of here. And I want it to match up like this. Do you see the little acorn, not acorn, but little pine cone there? So I want the pine cone to match up there. So I'm just going to press that into each other. And there we go. So we do have a little gap right there. We go. I closed in the gap. The gap was right there available. I don't know why we had a gap. So again, you have to make sure that when you're doing these, when you're buying your glass, that you make sure that you get your glass that's going to line up as well as it possibly can. It's not going to be exactly perfect, and that's okay, because as long as you can glue the pieces together, that's what's important. So I'm going to wipe away any glue on the outside here, because that, I don't want that to dry there like that. I'm going to do the same thing down here. Don't want that to dry like that. I am going to put a little bit more glue around here at the top, because I see that it's a little bit gaping right there. So I'm just going to put a little bit more glue right there. And then do the same thing for over here. Do just a little bit more. I want to make sure that it's secure. Once it dries, once it's had that 24 hours to dry, I want to make sure it's nice and secure. I don't want it to fall apart. Okay, so now that we're done with that part, we can push this to the side. The one thing you want to do also before you start putting this together, if you are going to be making your hat, is go ahead and take your top part and measure out the circumference of the hat, or the actual top part. So I've already done that on my piece of paper here, so I've made it just a little bit bigger than what the actual thing is, and it's not a perfect circle, but that's okay. I'm not a perfectionist. So I'm going to use my handy dandy Harry Potter scissors. I'm going to cut this. That's what I like about crafting, is that you don't have to be perfect. It's just that you made it, and it turns out to be at least semi-cool. It may not be completely cool or completely exactly what you thought it was going to be, but it's a craft that you made, so it doesn't have to be perfect. I just like that it's homemade. So you can measure out a circle better if you want to, because my circle obviously is not a very good circle. My circle is kind of a lopsided circle, but that's all right. We're going to deal with it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cardboard, and it's over here. I've got my glue gun warmed up as well, so just in case I want to use that. So what I'm going to do is trace this onto the cardboard. I'm going to grab my pencil. I'm going to trace this. I'm going to zoom you guys back down so you can see what I'm doing down here now. So here we go. So I'm going to trace this onto the cardboard. I'm wearing my jacket because I'm freezing. I am so cold tonight for some reason. Hopefully I'm not getting sick. It's too close to the holidays to get sick. Moms aren't allowed to have sick days anyways, are they? Okay, so I traced that. So this is just going to secure it up a little bit, because this is just a plain piece of cardstock, so it's not very thick. So now what I'm going to do is do the same thing I did a while ago. I'm going to take my scissors and just cut this out. I'm going to go in a little bit, not much, but just a tiny little bit. And these Harry Potter scissors are not the best for cutting cardboard. I need to probably get my other scissors, but I don't know where they're at. These Harry Potter scissors are meant basically for cutting school papers. So we're going to go ahead and flow with it, right? All right, so once I get this cut, we're going to adhere both pieces together to give it a more secure base. So now that I've got that cut out, I'm going to adhere both pieces together to give it a better base for the hat. So all I'm going to do is take this black piece of cardstock and put it on here. And if you can see that it doesn't match up perfectly, that's okay, because we're still going to do one more thing to it to help it match up better. So in order to get this to stick, I'm just going to use some of this Eileen's glue. I've not used this one yet. It's a new one, so I'm going to have to clip off the top. Clip, clip, clip. All right, got that off. So this is just some Eileen's tacky glue. So I'm going to spread this out. So I'm just putting it down into the cardboard for now. And I've got this really handy dandy tool. Let me grab it. It's a really cool tool. Let me find it. Where did I put it? Okay, so it's this little tool right here. It's called a, you know what? I have no idea what it's called, but it's basically a glue spreader. So it's got one end that's like just spatula typed, and then this one's more rubber typed. So now I'm just going to spread out my glue with this. And this will clean up very easily. Since it's all rubber, it'll just all wash off. So I don't have to worry about it. Hopefully I'm not shaking you guys by me moving my arms around like a crazy person. All right, so Now that I've got that spread out, I don't want a thick spot on it anywhere, so that's why you want to spread it out so it doesn't leave a thick spot and then bubble up on you. Now I'm going to place the black cardstock down on top of this and line it up as best as we can. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but we're going to try to get it as best as we can. So here we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my hot glue gun and I'm going to grab some jute. I stuttered there for a second. So I'm going to grab the jute and the hot glue gun. So I've got the hot glue gun, and now I'm going to put a little dab of hot glue right here. I don't know if you could see that or not. Hopefully you can. And then I'm going to take the jute and go around it just to kind of clean up the edges a little bit for it, because I feel like the edges are kind of messy looking with the cardboard sticking out like that. Of course we're out of glue. Of course we're out of glue. That's awesome. Hang on, let me grab a glue. So I've got these giant glue sticks here. So I've got a really big one. I'm just going to slide that into here. This is a very hot glue gun. This is the one I've burned myself with several times so far. So be careful with your glue gun. Don't be crazy like I am and have to wear Band-Aids for several weeks because you don't know how to use a glue gun. Oops, I almost burned my finger again. I'm really klutzy with a glue gun. Oh no, I don't want to get the glue on the black. So I'm trying not to do that. Trying not to. So hopefully you can see everything I'm doing here. I'm trying to bring it in so you can see. And then again, we're just going to put another little dot of glue here. And then we're going to bring the jute around. And we're just basically covering the edges with this. You can go around it as many times as you want to, or you can just go around it once. I'm just going to go around it once and say that's good enough. I'm not going to worry about it. The other thing I probably should have done was go ahead and cut out another black circle for the bottom portion of this. I need to go ahead and do that actually. I don't know what I was thinking. I only cut out one circle and I need two. So we'll do that after we get this on because we'll just measure it from this. So again, I'm just kind of winging it because the last time I didn't have to make a hat. So I'm just kind of winging it on how to make a hat for our snowman. Our glue is not wanting to come out. It says, no, I'm not working today for you. There it goes. And then when it comes out in one big gob. Do you ever have that? It's like, okay, I'm not going to do anything. And then all of a sudden it just wants to go crazy for you. All right, another little dab. Oh my goodness, this glue gun is not being very nice. I need to get those little glue finger things because I'm always touching the glue and you probably shouldn't do that. So don't follow my instructions when it comes to touching the glue. All right, so now I'm going to bring this around here and finish it off. Maybe if my glue gun decides to cooperate. I don't know what the heck's wrong with it. Looks like we might have to ask Santa for a new glue gun. All right, so once I've got that done, I'm just going to, oops, not glue myself to it, which is what I just did. Okay, so now that we've got that part done, I'm gonna clip that off right there with some scissors just to even these pieces out. Hopefully you can see again. I am going to clip it right here. There we go. And then I'm going to put a little dab of glue right there just to make sure these two pieces don't disconnect. So there we go. That part of the hat's done. So I'll have to show you guys in a second how it's going to fit onto the snowman. All right, so I'm going to set the glue gun over here for a little bit. Maybe it can decide that it does want to work for us and it will start working again. I don't know. I'm going to have to grab another sheet of black cardstock too. So when you're doing this, grab 2 sheets of black cardstock because you're going to need them. So now I'm going to just trace this because I should have put a bottom piece on here. So I'm kind of going under it and tracing it because I want it to be smaller than the jute. So I'm just tracing under here. This is something I should have done in the first step, not now. But like I said, it's okay. We'll get her done. We'll get it done. All right, now I'm just going to cut this out. The Dollar Tree did have little snowman hats, but I went back to find another one when I was going to recreate this little snow globe, and they didn't have any more. And I'm like, oh no, now I have to make a snowman hat. And I thought I had purchased more than one when I was buying things from the Dollar Tree, but evidently I didn't, so I only purchased one, which is really odd because I think they're so adorable, the little snowman hats, so that's okay. We'll get through it. All right, so now I'm going to glue this on the back of here. Try to line it up the best I can here. All right, I think that looks good. Now I'm just going to put the Eileen's glue on there as well, on this side. Just put a little bit on that, a little bit more. A little bit in there, and then we're going to grab our little handy dandy tool, and we're going to spread it out. Spread it all out, nice and even. That way there it can sit on there very well. This little tool is really cool. I like that you can just wash it up and you don't have to worry about it, and it's all rubber, so it's going to wash up pretty easily. So there we go. That's spread out. I'm going to set that down. And now figure out how this gets lined back up, because again, my circle is not a very exact circle. So we're just going to figure if it works good enough, right? Okay, there's the base of the hat now. So we have the base. Now we need to do the top of the hat. So I need to grab another piece of cardstock. So hang on, I'm going to walk to the cabinet, which is right behind you guys. So don't worry, I didn't leave you. I didn't go too far. Hopefully you can still hear me. My cardstock is stuck. Of course. Okay, got the cardstock. So I've got the other piece of cardstock here now. So I'm going to cut this into a strip, and then we're going to figure out how big we want it. So we're just going to cut a strip first. So I think for height, I think this, let's see. I'm not going to measure it. I'm just going to eyeball it, to be honest with you. So you can measure it if you, actually let's measure it. So that way there, if you're making this at home, then we know. So let's just measure it real quick. So we'll grab our little ruler here and we'll measure. And I'm going to say we'll make it 2.5 inches tall. I think that's plenty. So my nose is getting stuffed up, of course. It's towards the end of the night. I always feel like I'm getting stuffy. All right, so I'm going to mark that right there with my pencil, which I've lost. I have no idea where I put it. Do you guys have it? Do you guys have my pencil? Here it is. All right, so I'm just gonna mark that right there. I'm just gonna cut that into a strip. So let's do 2.5 on that side, and make sure we do 2.5 on this side, so that way there we can line these up as we're cutting. And actually, let's do this the easy way. What are we doing? We have a paper cutter. What are we doing? Here we go. If you have a paper cutter, get your paper cutter out. That's gonna make it so much easier than trying to figure it out this way. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not very good at trying to figure out things like this. So we're just gonna do it this way. So I want it to be 2.5. So we're gonna put the paper in, and I'm going to take it to 2.5, and then I'm just gonna slice it. This is much easier. Much, much easier. Yes. The other way was getting a little complicated. Not really. I mean, I could have done it that way. That would have been no problem. So now I think that is going to be a good height for the hat though. So there's what it's going to look like for the height for the hat. So what I want to do now is I'm thinking right about there is where I want it to be. So I'm going to glue this together first. So I'm just going to put some of the Eileen's tacky glue on it. And I'm just going to spread that out with my little tool here. Spread that out so that it gets on there evenly. And then we're just going to put it together. Make sure you line it up right. And then make sure that's exactly where you want it. And you might want to hold it for a minute or two because it's going to want to move. It's going to have a seam in the back, and that's okay. You can have a seam. We can decorate that up if you want to, or you can just leave it just like that. It doesn't really matter. It's going to be on the back of the snowman. I think I need to try to move it, but I can't now. The glue's already set. So the glue is completely set already for me. So I'm just going to set it down here. Now the next thing I want to do is create a top part for my hat. So I need to trace this circle one more time. We're going to trace this circle actually. No, we haven't traced this one yet. So we're going to trace this circle here. So I'm going to move this one over so I can trace and so you can see. I'm just going to trace it from the inside. And then when I cut it, I'm just going to give it just a little bit more of a lip. I'm just afraid if I tried to trace it from the outside, I might squish it a little too much because there's nothing really sturdy holding that up. So now I'm going to cut this out. a little bit bigger all the way around. Just a tad. You just want it to fit right on there. All right, so that's out. Oh, I think I cut it too small. Oh my gosh. Did I? No, I didn't. Okay. I was like, oh my gosh, did I really just cut it too small? That would be my luck. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use the hot glue gun because I want this to stick pretty easily and very quickly. So what's going on here with our glue gun though? Let's try to figure out what's going on. The glue was stuck. That's what's wrong. So now what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of hot glue here. Whoa, it's really coming out now. Oh my gosh, that's the one you don't want to touch. Do not touch that glue when it comes out like that. That is very dangerous. Did you see how hot and steamy it was? That is the one that burned me the last time. So I'm going to wipe that off because I made a mess with it. I made a mess with it. All right. These are all the lessons you're going to learn with my channel. You're going to learn all the mistakes that I make. All right, so let's try that again. Put a little bit of glue here. Watch your glue gun. Don't let it be crazy on you like mine was. All right. This thing's scaring me now. I'm like, don't come out fast like that again and try to burn me. I ain't ready for all that. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Okay. I'm going to set this down. Try not to burn anything or anyone. And I'm going to maneuver this so that it fits onto the top of the hat. And once it sits down onto the hat, then we'll just give it a second or two to dry. Let it dry real quick, that hot glue. Once it's set, you can go ahead. The next thing I'm going to do is use some more jute. And I'm going to take this jute and I'm going to go around the top of the hat to, actually we need a little bit more hot glue on there too. So we're going to give it a little bit more hot glue right here. Actually, I think when we're putting the jute on, it's going to help secure it as well. Help make it stick a little bit better. So again, my hot glue gun does not want to work. It's being so nice to me today. I think I'm definitely going to have to ask Santa for a new hot glue gun. So now I'm just going to start putting this around here. And this is going to help to disguise the two pieces together. Oh, and it's going to also help to secure the other part to it. So don't worry about any like glue pieces you're going to see, because you can decorate it up, the hat, so that you can't see those later. So I wouldn't worry about that whatsoever. All right, so now I'm just going to put some more glue here. Again, my glue gun is deciding to be so nice to me today. Okay, I think I might have it fixed now. Yep, there it goes. Look at that. It wants to work now. Of course, we're almost done with the project, and now it's deciding it wants to work. So I'm just pressing this in. The glue is a little hot, so just be careful with your fingers and don't glue yourself to it too badly. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right. I don't know what in the world I'm doing. I'm getting all stuck to it. All right. Now I'm going to put a little bit more glue here. Hot glue that. I'm going to grab, oof, I almost knocked the hot glue gun on my lap. Again, safety does not come first in my craft room. All right. I'm going to try to fix this so that it looks a little better once we're done. I may end up having to do some of that off camera. This is just giving you the basis for how you want to do this. And then I'll show you guys, like, after the project has dried, maybe if I've changed this up in any way, like added to it to get rid of any of the glue mess that I've made here. Because probably you guys are not going to make a big mess like this. It's only me, because I'm not very graceful in the craft room. So, all right. We got that part going around, and then we're just going to finish this jute going around here. If you're wondering why I keep doing that, it's because the glue is really hot. It's pretty hot. All right. So now I think we have it. We also have some spider webs on top of here. We'll just wipe those off. Wipe off the spider webs. I'm walking in a spider web. I think, isn't that Gwen Stefani that sings that? Pretty sure. You guys left me for some reason, so welcome back. So my camera decided to shut off. So I'm just going to put some hot glue around the bottom of this to glue it to the bottom portion of the hat. This glue is very, very hot. She is very hot. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm making a mess. All right. I know some of you guys don't like my commentary. I do apologize. I just like to talk. So I am definitely a talker. All right. There we go. That one is down on there. And in order to fix the top, if you're concerned about like any pieces, you can always put a little bit more glue to actually push it together, which is what we're going to do very quickly here. We're going to just put just a dab of glue right there and press it together. Not your fingers, just the hat. We don't need to glue our fingers, even though I just did. Okay, so there is the completed hat. It's not perfect, but that's okay. It's a little rustic snowman, so I'm cool with that. He does have some spider webs on him from the glue gun, and we can wipe those off. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and give him his little piece of greenery right here. So I'm just going to maneuver this so that it sits right on his hat like that. So that's how I'm going to put it on there. Let me find the glue gun again. We're going to need that. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the bottom of my greenery right here. And then set the glue gun down. And we're going to put that right there like that. We got him decorated up now. He's a decorated snowman. All right. Now I'm going to move you guys up a little bit. Hello. Now you can see my messy craft room as well. Things that I'm working on. All right, so now what I'm going to do is put this onto the top of our snowman. Do you see how rustic he looks now? He looks very rustic. So let me see, I need to move you up just a little bit more. So look how rustic he looks. He's got all these little spider webs on here. We'll clean those off. Woo! Once it's completely dry, I will take those off. That's not a worry. So now what I want to do is go ahead and use the E6000 though, because I want to make sure that his hat's secure onto the snowman. So I'm going to do the same thing I did with the other two portions of the glue. So I'm going to move this over and I'm going to put the E6000 right around the top of this. Whoops, not on the inside. Try not to get on the inside. Try only to get it on the outside. Hopefully my hand's not going in the way too much. Let me go around this way. See if that helps so that you can see what I'm doing. Making a mess is what I'm doing. And that's okay. I like messes. No, I don't. That is a lie. Don't like messes. All right, so now we've got that part done. Now I'm going to just set his hat down on top of the E6000 and our snowman is completed. So once it is completely dry, you have your completed snowman. So let's look at him. Here's what he looks like. He has this little hat on. He has the little lantern at the top. And then he's got the little tree here and then the little red truck at the bottom. So I think it turned out really cute. Once it's set up, I will bring the camera back on and show you that you can pick it up and shake it all around and it's not going to fall apart. Promise. Oops. Don't push on your hat like I just did. I just pushed on my hat a little bit. Just be careful with your hat. So anyway, he did turn out really cute. I think he looks adorable. So that is it for my snowman craft. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later.